share this with you guys as well. Storm Team is working on the special team of role models. Are you ready?
I'm already recording.
Good, cool, okay. So the Storm Team is working on communication skills this month. So last week I did a video for them on the idea of reading somebody's eye patterns. Where they look makes a difference in what they're thinking. For example, if I'm looking up to my right, this is visual memory. For me, recalling something I've seen. Up to my left is visual construction. So if I were to ask you what Mickey Mouse would look like if he had a pink goatee, you would probably look to this side. Audio is even level. So if I'm looking to my right, that is memory of a song. Left would be construction. The same is true for lower. Down to the side, down to the right is for your physical memory, like remembering doing a hard race. Or down to the left is internal audio, the idea of kind of walking through a conversation in your head. And not everybody's wired exactly the same, but you can check. Ask somebody at the grocery store, say, how long have you worked here? And usually, they will look up to their right based on remembering how long they've been at the place. I did this years ago. I learned this from a book, and it's not 100%, but it was really cool getting to see people's eye patterns, how they move. Now this week though, eyes up guys. Malcolm, eyes up sir. This week, their leadership skill is on some of the body language based on the head movements. And so the first thing is this: if you're talking to somebody, if somebody has their hand here on the face, it means one of two things. One, being on the face here could be contemplation. A lot of times when I'm thinking through curriculum, you'll see me put my hand up like this as I'm thinking through something. However, underneath the chin is usually boredom. If they are resting at all, it shows a lack of interest. You may jump in, sir. It's fine. You can jump in. Lack of interest is on the chin. So if you see somebody at a desk, head sitting on the chin, it's a lack of interest. Whereas touching the face usually shows more of them contemplating or thinking through what they're doing. The second one they have is tilting the head can show interest. Someone's talking to you, they start talking about something really interesting. Sometimes people kind of turn their head slightly sideways as they listen and gear in on what you're saying as well. And the reason for that is this. Eyes up. Eyes up. The reason for that is this. Turn the head slightly sideways. They've done studies on where you sit in a classroom and having different positions helping memory better. Visual memory is off to the right. Sitting to the left side of the room where you are using your eyes looking slightly to the right can be beneficial for memorizing things you're looking at. Versus if you're better at audio memory, being on the side, if you're more of a verbal learner, being on the right side may be better because then you're looking more to the left as you're listening to what you're talking to. It just gives you the ability to have an easier time accessing different parts of your brain. So tilting the head to the side can show interest when someone's talking to you. The next thing is holding the hand in front of the mouth when someone is talking can be a sign of them wanting to say something, but they're kind of waiting as they're thinking through what you're saying. It's just restraining yourself basically. And then on the flip side though, putting your hand over your mouth when talking to somebody can show deceit or not necessarily believing fully what you're saying. I was in Charleston, South Carolina, and I gotta be honest, I love listening to the guys try to pitch me on the timeshares down there. And so they have people they call body snatchers. The body snatchers are the guys that sit on the corners, and when you're walking by, they're like, hey, would you be interested in a free night stay at blah, blah, blah? Come on in when you're ready, sir. They say, do you want a free night stay at whatever? And the body snatchers, I had one of them say, I told him, I said, listen, I am meeting with a friend at 12 o'clock. You said it's less than an hour. If I come in at 11 o'clock to meet with them, will I be able to leave at 12 o'clock so I can meet my friend? And they're like, oh yeah, it's not going to be a problem at all, as they put their hand up by their face and as they stepped away. And I was like, I don't know about that. And so, but the point being, it doesn't always mean someone's lying. If someone tells you something, they do this, it does not mean, oh, you're a liar. But it can show a sense of distancing themselves from what they're saying. The other thing being, one more, shaking the head, nodding the head, and so forth is extremely influential. When you're talking to someone, I remember working with, you guys can jump in this way. I remember working with a friend of mine, Mr. Stein, when we were doing something, and we were role-playing something back and forth where I was supposed to say no to something he was asking me for. And he asked me for it, but he was nodding his head yes, and I found myself, even though I knew I was supposed to say no to him, I found myself starting to nod as well. No. But it's amazing how influential your slight body language can be. Just nodding as you're saying something is very influential. But you'll notice people, if you watch someone talking to them, you will see people start to nod in agreement or kind of turn their head slightly sideways in disagreement based on facial expressions. Watch movies and pay attention to how, with good actors, you will see so much that their face does and it conveys so much more as far as your sincerity and your ability to communicate with people just based on head movements. All right, that's all for now. Thank you, sir. Hit the